Welcome to New Life Live with Stephen Arterburn. For 35 years, New Life has been transforming lives one at a time thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's today's host, Chris Williams.
Hey, welcome to New Life Live. We are glad that you're with us today. Again, Chris Williams, licensed marriage and family therapist. I also have in the room licensed marriage and family therapist, Dr. Sherry Keffer.
Hey.
And my other licensed marriage and family therapist, Dr. Jackie Mack Harris.
Hey, Chris.
Jackie, how are you doing today?
Everybody. I'm good.
Good.
Yeah.
All right, I'm curious, what's on your mind today?
Oh, so many things.
I'll
narrow it down. We are going to be doing the emotional freedom workshop really soon.
Yes.
And I've been preparing for that. And while preparing for it, I'm learning some new things. I'm reading a book called Thanks for the Feedback. And so learning how to receive feedback. And as I'm thinking about how people deal with trauma and grief, those are the segments that I get to teach on in emotional freedom. I realize that oftentimes one of the ways we re-traumatize people is with the feedback that we give.
Oh, yeah.
And the ways in which we receive feedback. And so I may give you feedback and not know your story.
Yes.
And the feedback I give you then re-traumatizes you. And now we're in this relational struggle because I stepped on a landmine I didn't know was there. And so the importance of doing your work and being willing to have conversations with a therapist to start, some safe person, a therapist, a pastor, your partner, but someone who is safe that you can tell your story to, that can know where you've been and what's happened. And if you could, I feel like if we do some of that work, then when we encounter someone giving us feedback, we're better able to receive it because it doesn't trigger those old wounds as much.
We're either able to extract the landmines or we're able to diffuse the landmines.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting. I just had a client this week come back because I had shared something in session and I told a story instead of just being direct with her about what I was observing. And what I love about what she shared is that she came back to me and told me how my feedback had left her with some negative feelings.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
That was so brave,
Yes.
right? Because, and I told her, I said, you know, communication lies in the one that's communicating. I take full responsibility. And if I said something and didn't communicate in a way that felt safe or good, I want to redo, right? Yeah. And so I appreciate what you're saying, Jackie, about feedback. And
I love the way you received that feedback. It was such a great way of modeling for her and making it okay.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're in what she might consider an authority position, and yet she could come back to you. There's been so much safety created there that she could come back and say, hey, that hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so good. Because it just reminds me that our response to pain, our response to rupture, our response to grief is to naturally go invulnerable, right? To push away and to close off and defend and shut down. But our need, the irony is our need in our healing process is the need to become vulnerable, is to open up. And so we're in this tension here. But to your point, Jackie, we need a safe place to do that. To be vulnerable to the right things, to be vulnerable to the safe and the healing and the good things. And that is exactly what we offer at the Emotional Freedom Workshop. We offer a safe place for you to look on the inside and seeing what inside of you is stuck. What inside of you is holding you back or holding you down. And you're going to enter into these teaching sessions, but you're also going to enter into group process that allows to unearth the landmines and start the process of extracting them so that you can be more healthy in the world, or at least, like I say, diffuse them.
They can be diffused.
Yeah. So the Emotional Freedom Workshop, it is coming up Saturday, September 14th. It's online. Register today. Go to newlife.com/events, and you'll find all your information there.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn from New Life Live, and Chris Williams and I are doing the Emotional Freedom Workshop. I don't know of anybody that wouldn't benefit from emotional freedom. We're all bound or stuck or struggling in some area. What are we going to do there, Chris?
Just really help people get clarity around the places where they're stuck in their life. They sort of circle the same mountain of disappointment over and over and over again. You're going to be able to see that mountain clearly and get to a new place of what we call emotional freedom, which is simply I can feel in the world, build a relationship to it, and know what to do with my experiences.
The New Life Emotional Freedom Online Intensive is Saturday, September 14th. Steve Arterburn, Chris Williams, and Dr. Jackie Mack Harris will present information on trauma, depression, codependency, and more. And small group leaders will help you process the information you learn. Register online at newlife.com or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE and use the discount code NLL to save $50. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live. We are so glad that you're with us today. Again, it's Chris Williams, Dr. Sherry Keffer, Dr. Jackie Mack Harris, and now Luis in Dallas, Texas, listening on KWRD. Luis, how you doing today?
I'm good. Can you hear me?
I can hear you well. Tell us what's going on.
Well, that's a good question.
Well, that's what we're here for.
I've been thinking about it. I've been thinking about it, and at first I was like, okay, how can I help my grandson, who I'm raising, not feel like I'm his enemy? However, I think I'm changing the question.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's very in-depth. So my question, I guess, now is... there's a lot going on, okay, and he has been to so many. I've taken him to counselors, to different support groups and everything, and he just won't do it.
And what's he struggling with?
Everything.
Well, give me a for instance.
Seriously. Well, so with school, he had 58 days of truancy.
Okay.
He would not get up. He would not go to school. He likes to get high, and he's only 17. We live in Texas. That's not going to happen. It happens, but then he can't handle. His body just can't handle.
Where's mom and dad?
So, you know what? And that's where I get to the point where it's like I guess I'm not enough. I'm just not enough. I'm single. I've raised him his entire life, him, and I've also had his brother and sister as well, so there's 3. Mom and dad are, my son is their dad, and we lost him from diabetes.
Oh. How long ago was that?
A little over 5 years.
Okay.
So the mom's never really been in her life.
Okay.
That was her choice. Ran her off. Nobody asked her to leave. Nothing. Okay, nothing.
Luis?
It was just she wouldn't stay in. And
I heard you say something that I just want to go back to. When Chris asked you where mom and dad were, you said, okay, I get it. I'm not enough. Mm-hmm. And I wonder how much the struggle with your grandson is a similar issue. Of I'm not enough.
He's not enough? He feels like he's not enough? I don't know, because, like I said, I've tried everything I know to do. Counseling, grief counseling. He doesn't want to do it. He refuses it. No matter what is offered to him, he doesn't want to do it.
He's just really resistant to any help. Yeah.
He's resistant to everything.
And real quickly, hold on, Luis. What is his resistance doing to you? What's happening inside of you?
Well, I mean, I don't want to see him struggle, but it's to the point where now, it's even spilled over into, like, the juvenile system.
But hold on.
Now,
Luis, hear my question again. His struggle is doing what to you? What's happening inside of you?
It's tearing me up.
Yeah.
It's tearing me up because I can't help him. He feels like I shouldn't have any control of his life. He should have all control. And I'm like, but son, that doesn't work. It's not going to work until you're older for sure, and then you don't always get to control everything, regardless
Yeah.
how old you are.
And so Louise, how can we help you?
Okay, my question is at this point, so he is in the juvenile system, okay, and I'm trying to keep him to where he's not going into it long term, okay? I've had so many professional people tell me he needs to go long term.
Okay.
Which means he would be where he would not be at home. I've begged this kid to go to an RTC where he would be not under the juvenile system, but yet not under my home, because
so Louise, we know that you've tried a bunch of things. Okay. So the struggle that you're having is like, what do I do now?
It sounds like the struggle you're having is with releasing him to the system, so that they can do the work that needs to be done that you haven't been able to. And you may have to grieve the fact that you can't fix this, and he's going to have to lie in the bed he made. And the hope is that he gets the help and the healing in juvenile hall at 17, so that he isn't out on the street at 18, 20, 21 doing something that gets him prison time. He's going to have to ride this.
Oh, and it just kills me.
Yeah. That's why Chris is asking you what's happening inside of you, because the thing you can do something about is what it's doing to you. Are you in therapy for yourself?
Not right now, no. So, we're going to, within the juvenile system, there's a psychologist and there's a psychiatrist and there's all the other people, right? So we do a little bit of counseling there, but it's really not really counseling because he refuses to do the counseling because there's a LITA here that can offer him counseling.
But he's not going to do it.
Walk away.
He's not going to do it. So you're going to have to work towards accepting that he is in a place, in a space where nothing you do or say is going to fix it. He is angry and he is rigidly holding on to his anger, and it may be that's his only connection to his dad. Is his anger, and he's not going to give it up for you. So I would recommend you find a therapist for yourself, and you find maybe like a life recovery group so that you have some support. I'm sure you didn't intend to be raising your 3 grandchildren at this point in your life. So connecting with some people who understand what you're going through and who can be a safe place for you to process, I think is really important.
Well, I've raised him his entire life. Mm-hmm. So it's not like is new.
Well, but that's even still,
17 years.
You've raised him his whole life, but there is this innate need in us to be connected to our parents. Mm-hmm. Even I have foster kids, and they were in an abusive situation. They came to live with us, and every day they wanted their father. Every day they wanted him back in their life, even though he had been the one hurting them. It's just innate in us to be connected to our parents. So even though you were doing all you can as his grandmother to raise him well, he is still living out his attachment rupture, his attachment wounds of not having a mother and father who chose to stay there and parent him.
Yeah.
His dad passed away.
Yeah. And
he didn't have a choice.
He didn't have a choice, but when we're in our grief, someone leaves us, it's the leaving that we're stuck to. The how they left doesn't often come up. It's just, why couldn't you still be here? And we don't know that he's thinking that because he's not talking right now. And since you can't get him to talk, you're not going to be able to help him make it better. And so you're going to have to go talk to someone. So you go do what he won't do.
Yeah. I think that'd be great. Show the example of what it looks like to deal with your pain. Because, Sherry, it reminds me of something that you have talked about before as well. And that is when we can't control the shame or the grief is overwhelming. Or I should say this, we can't control the emotional impact. And so we control through other ways and other means. And it sounds like that's what Louise is struggling with here.
I just, I hear... Girl, you're exhausted.
Yeah.
You're absolutely exhausted. I want to give you a purple heart. I do. I want to give you a Purple Heart because I think you've left it all on the field. But I also hear, even in your laughter, amidst your exhaustion, I just hear how dropped you feel by treatment professionals. You don't have somebody to carry you, to protect you, to help you. And so there's almost kind of this contempt for people like me, other therapists or whatever, because no one has swooped in to help you with this overwhelming situation. It's like being on a war, being on a, out in a war zone, and having it is, and then having the leaders of our country not come for you and let you stay in that place. It's such a powerless place. Yeah. So the only thing you do, right, to protect is just pour contempt. It's like, nothing's going to help, right? And we just get more and more stuck. But I hear the exhaustion. And based on what Chris said, I also work with foster kids. And I'm hearing your 17-year-old, he's struggling with abandonment. Relational abandonment. And I have kiddos on my, that I would go see every week, that their strategy is, I'm going to make you not like me first so I don't have to fall in love with you again and lose you.
Yeah.
And you're proving that no matter what he does, you're not turning away from him. You haven't abandoned him. You're the safe person he can act out with. You're always going to be there.
But Jackie's right. He needs a higher level of care, and you still get a Purple Heart.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you are enough, by the way.
Yeah.
You are absolutely enough.
Because when we fight against these things and these losing battles that are so meaningful to us, that's where a shame message like "you're not enough" comes in and starts taking over our lives. And Louise, we want, one, to echo Jackie, we want you to know you are more than enough. Yes. But your grandson is in such pain and in such a serious condition. I oftentimes, this is my line, families make terrible treatment centers.
Amen.
There's a higher level of care. If he had cancer, you wouldn't want him being cared for just in the home by you. And so he's carrying an emotional cancer inside of him that needs a higher level of care. I'm not saying the juvenile system is the best, but it may be better. And he may be resisting, and he may not be burned out yet. He may not have felt his bottom yet, but it sounds like it's there. And so you've already played the long game, and I want you to hear Sherry and say, it's time to pull back. You don't have to tap out, but to pull back and let others care so you can get the care that you need and the clarity that you need.
Well,
and I hear underneath all this, Louise, is the terrible need to let go. But we know when we let go, underneath the let go is the grief.
And you're not letting go of him.
Not at all.
You're not abandoning him. You're just letting go of the belief that you can fix this.
Right. And he tells me if he goes.
Yeah.
If I say he can go, he said, I'll never forgive you. And I know he's a kid, and he's saying this. He's lashing out because he certainly does not want to go into this system.
Yeah.
He does not want to go into this. But, and I've asked him so many times, I'm like, if you just done what I asked you to do.
Yes, and this is what it is. He doesn't believe he has choice yet. Hopefully he will. Louise, here's...
Well, at this point, they're calling me to say, we're going to pick him up.
Yeah.
And,
well, let's do this first, okay? We want to get you into the help you need. I'm going to do this. I'm going to take liberty here, and I'm going to give you a scholarship to the Emotional Freedom Intensive to help get underneath the surface on all of what's going on inside of you so that you can be cared for. that you can get into the healing that you need so you can be strengthened, because your grandson is going to need the long game, not the short game. And there's a long ways for him to go. But we believe in you. We believe in your process. And so the Emotional Freedom Workshop, it's online. You don't have to go anywhere. It's going to be September 14th. And we want you to reserve that time and that day for just you, and for you to get the care that you need. We're also going to send you a copy of the Emotional Freedom Workbook. And Luis, again, we're going to pray you forward, pray you into God's hand. Thank you so much for calling in. We're going to be back right after this.
When you give to the New Life Scholarship Fund, you're giving someone hope for a brighter future.
I was kind of in the closet and hit with my struggle. Your donation really made the difference, especially in my situation, because I would have getting laid off from my job.
At the New Life Intensives, hurting people are able to begin a new path towards healing and freedom that has an effect on all of those around them.
I think the people who support New Life financially are people that I'll never know. You know, I'll never be able to thank them personally for the gift that they gave to us. Their giving saved me, my husband, and our family from being torn apart.
To help hurting people to connect to the help they need, make your gift to the Scholarship Fund at newlife.com or by calling 1-800-NEW-LIFE and specifying scholarships.
Someone called and sponsored me to come this weekend. Whoever that is, just know that you saved a life. Literally, you saved my life.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
I was sort of vaguely familiar that the 12 steps had some origination in the Bible. I found life recovery, and one of the things I liked so much was that it had such a broad appeal. It wasn't limited to just alcohol or drugs, that it was addressing a wide range of problems.
At New Life, we believe everyone can benefit from a life recovery experience. There are life recovery groups all over the country. They take place online, in conference calls, and in person. And if there isn't one in your area, we can help you start one. We have startup materials, leaders' guides, CDs, Bibles, and more, all with discounts available for groups. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE and ask for Terry Ward. The 12 steps have long been a great help to people in recovery because much of the 12 steps' power comes from the fact that they capture principles clearly revealed in the Bible.
The 12 steps is really a pattern for all of us as Christians.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live. We are so glad that you're with us today. And one of the things that I am so grateful for is for all of you who are financial partners in New Life Ministries. Again, in the offering, one of the things I want to highlight today is that, for instance, we just talked to Louise. She really does need to be at the Emotional Freedom Workshop. I don't want finances to be a barrier to her, especially as a single woman trying to raise her out of control and hurt grandson. This is something we don't want to be a barrier for anyone, is for finances to be a barrier to get the healing and hope, to get the progress that you need. We have a scholarship fund for our workshops, and we definitely use those, but we need your help. We want to keep those scholarships alive and offering to other people. My appeal today is for those of you who have experienced the life-changing transformation that happens at our workshop. Please consider giving back. And here's just, it's not universal, but here's something I've seen over and over and over again, is that when people get healing, they get health, they get growth, guess what happens to their financial viability? It dramatically increases.
Yeah, it gets health and it gets growth too.
Yes. And that's just one of the ways in which we can give back so other people can discover what we have received. I also know this: God's economy works in abundance. It multiplies. And so that's something that is on your heart, something that you would like to do, you can give us a call, 1-800-NEW-LIFE, or go online and find to newlife.com, find where you can donate, and you can specify that even to a specific scholarship fund. And again, I just want to thank all of the financial partners out there today. We do what we do because you give so generously. We're going to go back to the phones. We're going to go to Diane in Houston, Texas, listening on Sirius XM. Diane, how you doing today?
I'm doing good.
Good.
Thank you for being there.
Well, thank you for calling in and being with us today. How can we help you?
Well, I have got a lot. This has been on my mind, and I was thinking about talking to a counselor about it. But I've been talking about retiring, and I'm going to be 70 in November. And we have a, pretty costly living, cost of living. And my husband retired early at 62 because of a heart condition. Well, he made a good income. So the two of us together bought a house, and we moved out of state and planned to retire both. And then I realized I need to go back to work. But I've been working for 3 years, and I'm physically, have migraine headaches. And
Diane, can I ask, what do you do for a living?
I'm a nurse, a registered nurse, but I have a very easy job, thankfully, finally. Presently, I only work a couple of days a week, and
Diane, I'm gonna stop you because you're shortchanging yourself.
Right?
I'm not even gonna let you finish that sentence.
Nurse Jackie.
Yeah, we're not.
Yes, help us out here.
You actually don't have a easy job, and the fact that you only work a couple of days a week has no bearing. You said it's starting to affect your body. You are tired.
Yeah.
I was a nurse before I was a therapist. I couldn't nurse anymore in my 40s, and I took a job at an insurance company. I was a prior auth nurse, so I wasn't lifting patients anymore, but you're still lifting the load of that patient, whatever it is, whatever the organization you're working in is, and this wasn't how you saw your journey going.
And I have a question. Diane, what is your husband doing?
Well, he's disabled, and he just started doing some yard work. And what does his day look like? I'm really curious on that. Well, it's changed a lot in the last 3 years. He didn't think he'd have the physical stamina to do what he's doing now, but he's been mowing some lawns, but his back is really bothering him, and actually he's getting dependent on pain pills.
Oh, okay.
Through this, and it's only to buy himself.
But let me jump in. When he's not mowing lawns, when he's not doing anything physical, what is he doing?
He's laying on his back watching TV.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how does he feel about you retiring?
Oh, to him, it's out of the question. We have to have cars paid off. We have to have all the credit cards paid off, and we're not there yet. We're not that far off, but, he's kind of narcissistic. Another counselor told me that. I've sought some counseling. He wants...
Yeah, because I just want to point out that that's a strange solution to accruing debt and high expenditures at your age is to make more money. That seems like, I'll be just straight up honest, that sounds like a foolish solution to a serious problem.
Yeah, he needs to cut back some things so that you can retire.
Right.
Okay, so Diane, I have a secret weapon for you. She's waiting in the wings. Name's Dr. Sherry Keffer. She's going to help you get to the very bottom of this and start making some really, really good, hard solutions that solve the right problems.
Great.
So we are so glad that you have called in today. But man, I really am shocked that, okay, I might be disabled as a male, but my solution to my financial problem is for my wife to work more and me spend more? That doesn't make any sense. We'll attack this right when we come back, right after this.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for over 34 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
I'm an addict, and I'm trying to get God in my life again.
Our Christ-centered treatment programs can help you break free to embrace all that God has for your life and your family.
I just want to thank you guys for bringing me to a relationship with Jesus.
There really is help for marital problems, depression, addictions, panic attacks, and feelings of hopelessness.
I came back with so many tools to help me prepare myself to fight this struggle and this battle that I have every day.
You can start living again today, living the life God intended for you. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
They did care, and they did follow up very lovingly, and it made all the difference in my life.
Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Someone who cares is waiting at the other end of the phone. God can open the door to a better tomorrow. Call 1-800-639-5433.
Club New Life changes lives.
I think I go way back to listening to New Life, learning so much from it, and then becoming a Club New Life member.
Club New Life is a monthly giving family that helps New Life Ministries provide Christ-centered hope and counseling resources to thousands of people.
You know, I'm so thankful because you know why I keep giving? Because I keep learning, and I'm so thankful for all the lives that you touch every day and the people's lives. So when I get to still hear the radio show, it's just so encouraging to my heart.
When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, you'll make a difference in the lives of individuals and families with godly counsel and connection to help.
And you know one reason I give? Because I feel like sometimes I'm hiding behind a counselor's couch listening to all this great information and not paying, so my guilt of this great advice is alleviated by being a Club New Life member.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. And together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live. We are so glad that you're with us today. We're also glad that Diane is with us today. She's in just a really, really tough situation where she's feeling like she has to work and continue even into potentially her 70s because her husband doesn't want to retire because of the financial situation that they're in. And it sounds like, Diane, he's a spender. Does it sound? Is that correct?
That's correct.
Just one more question. When you look at those credit card statements, what is on them?
Well, he took out a couple new credit cards because he wanted transfer balance with no interest, and now his credit card is up to $7,000 or $8,000.
But do you know what? But that's not answering the question. What is he spending it on?
What things are he buying?
Well, see, he buys things for his motorcycle. He bought a $15,000 motorcycle and took it out of our 401k.
Okay, so hold on. There's so much not matching up. A disabled guy buys a $15,000 motorcycle.
Mm-hmm.
And mows the lawn every now and then.
That he wants you to keep working to pay for.
Yeah, okay, Sherry, I got to hand it over to you.
Yeah. He's
mowing the lawn for one purpose, though, Sherry, and that's to buy accessories for his motorcycle.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And we sold the old motorcycle and got the money for that, and he didn't want to put that in our general fund. That's very low. He wanted to put that in the motorcycle fund.
The money that you took out of your 401k to pay for, so it didn't go back.
Right.
Okay.
Right, exactly.
So, Diane, there's times that I sit here and I think, this just doesn't make sense. Mm-hmm. When something doesn't make sense, there's a reason that it doesn't make sense. But, we can spend days, weeks, months, and years scratching our noggin trying to figure out what it is about this man who's narcissistic, who's spending lots of money on things and working his wife to the bone. So I got to be honest. I'm going to just take a flying leap, and it might feel so uncomfortable for me to just take this flying leap with you. But when I hear all this, I'm kind of wondering about his sexuality. I'm wondering, and I like that. You know, when you said it makes me wonder if you've wondered too about what's going on there.
Well, you know, I've asked him, that's another thing, intimacy is a problem. And, you know, he's having problems because of his medication. And, you know, I asked him, and, you know, I'm 135 pounds. I haven't weighed more in the last, since we've been married, more than 5 or 10 pounds.
But do you know what,
all of a sudden,
sweetheart?
I'm not attractive.
All of a sudden, you're not attractive? Is that what you said?
I'm overweight. I'm obese.
So he, I believe, has a serious porn issue. I think that he doesn't want you to quit your job because he likes the freedom when you're not there to go on, look at TV, look at porn. I'm not sure if he's going mowing lawns or if he's going to massage parlors. I mean, he opened up a couple credit cards. Don't know if you know what's on those. But when I start... I'm sorry?
I do know what's on them.
Okay.
I get the statements.
Okay. So you can see... But if there's money being pulled out... I mean, who's he showing off himself to with a motorcycle? I just feel like there's some honeys out there. I feel like there's... porn, there's women, there's something. He's starting to gaslight you by telling you you're too heavy. Like all these sexually nefarious things go on, and I just smell an addiction.
Yeah.
And yet, you know, it can feel so confusing to the spouse who can't understand why he just won't stop spending, or why he just doesn't look at her and say, honey, you're as beautiful as the day I met you, or why he doesn't say, honey, it's time to retire. I want you just to be here with me, and I'm just going to sell my motorcycle so you don't have to work anymore. That self-serving nature, entitlement, narcissism doesn't just stop with motorcycles. There's sexual entitlement too. And narcissists can have sexual acting out that's going on, that's being hidden. And that's where I'm concerned for you.
And Sherry, just to add on to that, because though we may not be able to see the sexual entitlement as it acts out in its secrecy, whether it be pornography, massage parlors, and all the other different ways, it definitely shows up in emotional entitlement. I have the right to feel good all the time and make my own decisions. There's no accountability to self or other people in this process. So yes, he can use you because he's using everybody else.
Yeah.
And he tells himself this, well, she's put on some weight so I can go to a massage parlor and get a happy ending or whatever. I mean, this is, I work with addicts.
Yes,
you work with addicts,
absolutely.
right? And so
this is how it works.
This is how they lie to themselves to get a hall pass. So Jackie was sitting here saying, I'm really concerned about Diane and I want to give her a pass to do a deeper dive. We're going to send you my book, Intimate Deception, Healing the Wounds of Sexual Betrayal. And because, I think there's a problem under the problem.
He took money out of your retirement fund to buy a motorcycle, and he's disabled and can't work. He can ride a motorcycle where, and then said, no, when we sell that, we're not going to put that money back. He's actually prolonging your retirement on purpose. Why?
Right.
Well, and there's another term I want you to get familiar with. It's called fiduciary abuse.
Yes.
Do you know what that means?
No, not really.
He's abusing you financially.
Okay.
Yeah, people only think about it when it's like somebody's abusing their mom or their dad, but that's what's happening.
Yeah, and I'm using the technical term fiduciary abuse so you know that it's an actual thing that happens.
Appreciate that, Chris.
Yeah.
Well, and that makes sense because I was going to go talk to a lawyer.
Good idea.
I think that's
good.
I think it's a great idea.
You got 3 votes here.
Yes, that's a yes.
Your instincts are amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You're helping me to put the the things, the pieces together.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. That's what we're here for.
And validate what I'm feeling.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I want to make something clear, because of when we're in marriages like this, where we are being betrayed, we're being used, we're being taken advantage of, it's the erosion oftentimes of our identity. And
yes.
Right? And so I just want to say, Diane, you deserve better.
You deserve better.
Thank you.
You know, one guy to you, you deserve better. I want you to take that in. I want you to absorb that. I want you to kind of
I'll write that down.
mess around with it. Yes, put it on an index card and tape it to a place where you get to see it on a regular basis. And there's one last thing that I'll say in this. I think when we're in these things, especially Sherry, like you had mentioned and worked so well with helping us understand what gaslighting is, what it looks like, what deception is, and what it does to us. One of the clarifying questions that or statements that I like to give to spouses is, here is what it looks like to be married to me. And so I want you to write down 4 things that says, here is what it looks like to be married to me. And these are my 4 non-negotiables. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Now, it might take some time. We want you to get into some specific help here. You know,
okay.
we want you to get into some therapy that works specifically with betrayed partners. Sexual betrayal, because it is a very specific trauma that needs specific help. We're going to send, as Sherry already mentioned, we're going to send you a copy of Intimate Deception, Healing the Wounds of Sexual Betrayal. And there'll be some resources in there for you with that. But Diane, we want to cheer you on. We want to cheer you on into retirement and health and vitality and some years ahead of you that you deserve better.
And I want to say one more book by Shannon Thomas, Healing Hidden Abuse by Shannon Thomas. Write that down, because I think that will be a really good read. Healing from Hidden Abuse, Shannon Thomas. We don't have it here, but you can get it.
I love that. What a great resource. Dan, thank you so much for calling in. If you're listening to our show right now, do not go anywhere. When we come back to the break, we're going to have special guests on. So I'm going to leave you in suspense.
I can't wait
to
talk to them.
Yes, special guests on. So we're going to be back with that right after this.
We all face days where life throws us a curveball and our routines or plans get disrupted. Things we wanted to do are forced to take a backseat to the unexpected demands of the day. If you normally listen to New Life Live on a radio station, well, you might not be able to that day. And on these hectic days when you're feeling stressed or frazzled, hearing the sound of counsel given on New Life Live is just what you need to navigate the unexpected things of life.
Every time I'm troubled or I have a problem, I'll cut on New Life, and there's always something that is said that is helpful to me.
By listening, I have learned more than I can ever express about how God wants me to live.
Download the New Life app for the easiest way to listen wherever you are and at a time that's convenient for you, or watch the show on our YouTube channel. You can even subscribe to our podcast from your favorite podcast provider. You never have to miss a day of New Life. Wherever you are, we are.
Restore gave me strength. It gave me more belief in my faith. I met up with a group of women that are going through things that they had no control over.
If you've been affected by betrayal, an emotional or physical affair, or pornography, Restore Intensive will equip you with support and tools to help you through.
When 2 people want to do their part, we can be restored. But if they don't, we can still be restored. We are not stuck because someone else made a decision. That God lets us weigh in on how we want to walk out our lives. Our wellness does not hinge on another person's decision.
The Restore Intensive is coming to Washington, D.C. November 1st through the 3rd. Register online at newlife.com or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE and use the discount code NLL to save $50.
I had a great experience at Restore.
1-800-NEW-LIFE and the discount code NLL. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live. One of the really exciting things that we get to do here at New Life Ministries is we get to partner with remarkable people doing remarkable things. And we have the remarkable Alex and Stephen Kendrick on the show right now with us today. You may know them from the movies Overcomer, War Room, Courageous, Fireproof, one of my favorites, Facing the Giants. Alex and Stephen, how are you guys doing today?
We're doing great. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon to you. So, today is a big day for you guys.
Absolutely. We are releasing a new film. Sony is releasing it this weekend. Actually, people can get tickets on Thursday night as well. It's called The Forge. It's being released all across the nation and in over 20 countries, 40 languages eventually. It openly communicates the gospel. It talks about the power of prayer, forgiveness from bitterness, past wounds, and also what it looks like to surrender fully to Jesus and to make disciples of others. So we're very excited about The Forge coming out.
Well, I'm excited about it too. I had the advantage of getting an advanced viewing of this, and I'm curious. There is a strong connection, especially among guys, among us males, of mentoring and mentorship. I'm curious, what led you to that decision to say that we need to show the world what this looks like?
Well, the first thing we noticed was that the culture is going hard after our young people, especially at the college age. They're going after their heart, their mind, their perspectives, their values, their morals. And we have to be more purposeful about investing and going after the young generations. We believe that whoever wants the next generation the most is going to get them. So we have to send the truth in love to the next generation, and that is part of discipleship. Jesus, yes, he would speak to the masses, but he also had his 12 that he spent time with in intimate relationship, learning truth and calling each other out. He poured into them. He corrected them, rebuked them, but encouraged them. They grew so much more deeply in their faith. And, of course, by the book of Acts, these disciples are changing the world. And our churches, thank God we have good men in the pulpits preaching truth to the congregations. But more than that, we need people in discipleship groups going deeper in the faith. And that's what this movie is about. And we think by the end of The Forge, people are going to leave the theater thinking, wow, that was not only an entertaining, engaging movie, but who do I need to be pouring into?
You know, it's funny you mentioned that because that is exactly what I walked away with, guys. It was really convicting for me in my role of like, I have two sons and I pour a lot into them, but I have their friends and our community. And the question that I left is, who are the kids in my community that I need to be engaging way more intentionally with?
Well, and Jesus started with praying, and then he chose the 12. And we would tell people, begin to pray. God, who would you have me reach out to? Mm-hmm. It could be a coworker. It could be somebody in your family. It could be somebody in your church, or the younger generation. What we've seen is they're digitally connected, but they're relationally very disconnected.
Yes.
And they have hurts that need healing. They have questions that need answering. They're confused by what the culture is communicating to them. Oftentimes there's woundedness and dysfunction in the home. Mm-hmm. They have nobody to share that with. And we're thinking believers, especially the most mature believers, we need to stay busy about the Great Commission. We need to be reaching out, taking the initiative, inviting people into our world, and then sitting down with them. And basically discipleship is follow me as I follow Christ. It's not just teaching from a distance and they're only hearing your words. It is loving them in close proximity and giving them an example so they're seeing what you're teaching modeled and lived out in everyday life.
Yes, and really, I got that from this. When you're talking about the Great Commission, you're not approaching it from the standpoint of, hey, let's go and make casual Christians. You're approaching it from, hey, let's go make disciples. Yeah.
That's exactly right, which, as Stephen said, is part of the Great Commission. So, believing in Jesus is the first step, absolutely, but following him with your heart and your life has to be the greater, more fruitful priority. And so we think when people watch this film, they're going to leave asking themselves that question: to what degree do they truly follow Jesus as a disciple?
Yes, yeah. And Sherry was talking at the break about our need for both truth and grace. And we typically fall on one side or the other. And I love that you guys, like Jesus, are not sacrificing either one of those things. We're going to be very truthful in how we approach this, but we're also going to make sure that the undertone is full of grace.
Well, and Joshua Moore in the movie models that as he is discipling Isaiah.
Yes.
He gives Isaiah a lot of patience and grace, especially in the beginnings of their relationship. But he doesn't hold back the truth. He not only leads him to Christ, but then he teaches him how to get in the Word. He introduces him to solid other believers. And you see the praying mama aspect in this film. This ties into some of the characters for War Room. But this is a movie people can watch with their whole family. Pastors are already buying out showtimes and taking their churches. Business owners are using it because it has a strong message for those that are in the business world and how to honor Christ in that perspective. So we're praying God be glorified through your church at this time.
Yes, and we do need as many eyes and ears and hearts watching this film as possible because the message is so timely, so important. And there was this really deep connection for me in this, being raised by a single mom who was praying her heart out for my and my brother's well-being, feeling overwhelmed in this world. And there was just these moments in it where I could see her heart and her passion for her son, but also just the limitation of any one human being, no matter if they have the title of mom or dad, that we need the whole community. We need the body of Christ. It was just this remarkable description and portrayal of that.
Well, The Forge is out this weekend, and we're asking people, please pray that God will use this movie. It lifts up the name of Jesus in theaters where usually the name of Jesus is dishonored. And it has been being released around the world, 40 languages. We're praying for God to work, mightily in the hearts. So many people are discouraged post-COVID. Many churches have shut down. A lot of pastors have been dropping out of the ministry. And part of it is because we've built beautiful buildings and big systems, but they're missing those close relationships that will produce the intimacy in Christ that people need, the maturity in Christ that people need, and then the fruitfulness of them being ready to go out and pour into somebody else. But discipleship is the method. Maturity in Christ is the goal. And we're asking people, leverage the Forge. Go take your family, spread the word, and let's change the world for Christ.
I appreciate you guys so much. I love your work. It is so critically important. I can also affirm I was stunned by the acting in this film. There is no entertainment value sacrificed in the message and mission of putting forth the Great Commission and lives being transformed by Christ. Thank you guys so much for being with us. We were going to cheer on and pray on this remarkable film that carries this importance. Let's fill it up. Tell your friends about it. It's The Forge. It comes out today, Friday, August 23rd. Wherever you find your tickets, wherever it is, go check it out. Thank you so much for being with us today. Jackie, Sherry, thank you for your friendship. Thank you for your wisdom. And thank you all again for tuning in, listening. And until next time, be well.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again on Monday for New Life Live.
Thanks for watching today. We love helping people. I hope you sense that. And we know that there's always hope if you find the right resource. Now, if something we've said to somebody else applies to you, that's fantastic. That's what we're hoping for. But also, if you want to join us directly, you can call 1-800-229-3000 between 1 and 3 Eastern Time, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Those are the best times to get through. And while you're here on YouTube, check out these other videos that we've done to help people see where they could grow or a different path to take. And if you do that, would you give us a thumbs up on the video, and please subscribe to this channel. There are many ways that we can help you outside of the radio program, and it's very hard for some to pick up a phone and dial 1-800-NEW-LIFE. But when you do, we put you in touch with somebody who cares about you, knows all the resources out there, and they're going to find the best for you. There is no reason to struggle alone. I hope to see you tomorrow. Hope you'll invite somebody else to come and join that maybe needs just a little bit of help along the way. I'll see you next time.